What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Tuesday night Q&A hangout. Chiefs coming off of a bye week. Got to watch some football. There were some good games. I feel like some of the primetime games, the later night games, were not as exciting. Last night's game wasn't that exciting, 10-7. Thursday night football wasn't as exciting, 10-7 between the Broncos and the Raiders on Thursday night. It was the Packers and the Eagles last night. But at least you got, I guess, a little bit of time to decompress after the Chiefs lost to the Bills. And then, of course, you needed other teams to lose. And nobody really did the Chiefs any favors at all. So we'll look at these scores and just kind of, I wanted to process through some of that with you guys. But yeah, there wasn't a lot of favors done for the Chiefs this weekend. There was a little one, and we'll talk about it briefly. But yeah, the Broncos beat the Raiders. I did not think the Raiders were going to win that game. I had no faith in the Raiders beating the Broncos, even though it was a disgusting game with 14 punts. Both of these teams were 3 for 14 or 4 for 15 on third downs. Both of the quarterbacks threw for 150 yards or less. I think they had more penalties than first downs, both teams. Just a very ugly game, and it was a windy game. There were wind gusts and other stuff like that going on, but wind gusts, that's not going to affect you being able to throw an accurate screen pass. So it was just a weird, disgusting, ugly game. If you wanted any of the top AFC teams to lose, they didn't. So most of them didn't. Well, let me backtrack. The Colts won in Germany. So that's a team that you're like, hey, we would like them to lose, but they're going to win their division. Now, this is why I said let me back up for a second, because the Dolphins did beat the Bills. 30-13, very surprising game. The Ravens are back. Lamar and them looking better. Their defense is very healthy. They handedly beat the Vikings 27-19. The Patriots beat the Bucs, so they're still winning. The Bills are currently second in their division. Here's another game that helped the Chiefs a little bit. If you're in the wild card hunt, and I don't even like talking about the wild card hunt. I don't like talking about that at all. But that's kind of where we are with a must-win game against the Denver Broncos happening midday this week on Sunday. The Chiefs can still control their own destiny, so I will get to that for sure. And then obviously we'd just love to see how you guys are doing and chat through any questions. But yeah, the Texans did manage to beat the Jags. And that means the Jags have the same record as the Chiefs, but the Jaguars have the tiebreaker over the Chiefs because they beat them on Monday Night Football weeks back. The pick six happened. A bunch of ugly stuff happened in that game where the Chiefs, that was a one game that the Chiefs lost where I'm like, yeah, you truly did not, you had the win and gave it away. All the other losses for the Chiefs, the three others, if you want to argue, no, they just got beat, that's fine. Because I don't want to be like a poor sport, sore loser. But that is the one game that I'm like, you lost that game. Now, players make plays too. Credit to Devin Lloyd for the 99-yard pick six. But man, outside of that, the Steelers didn't help the Chargers either. So you had the Broncos win again. You had the Chargers win again. And Herbert, without his left or right tackle, looked... I thought the Steelers might be able to win that game. I thought the Steelers... because of the banged-up O-line and how dominant their D-line can be, I thought they were going to have a much closer, more competitive game against the Chargers than they actually did. No, did not. Wasn't even close. Aaron Rodgers in that offense could do nothing at all. Rodgers doesn't even look like he wants to play football anymore. I don't know. So maybe he should enjoy life after football this year because, it's looking a little rough over there. But I do want to also pull this up. Where do I got this? Standings. Here's where we are. And here's why this game against the Denver Broncos is a pretty important game. Now, I was listening to a Broncos podcast earlier today. I think it was DNVR Sports. I hope I had the abbreviation right. And they're a pretty good channel, sports channel on YouTube, podcast. They cover all things Denver. And they have some good Broncos content. I think it's pretty quality, not hot take. They're just kind of shooting it straight. And they had a good point, I thought. They said this isn't a must-win game for Denver. It's an important game for Denver because you could really help increase your percentage pretty drastically on being able to win the West. But there's a lot of games left to play. The Chiefs, though, if you don't win this game, you are pretty much, for the most part, unless the Broncos and Chargers just start losing games, and they haven't been, unless they just start losing games, the Chiefs are most likely fighting for a wild card spot. 5-5 through 10 games, your chances of winning the West, sub 20%. Again, unless the Broncos and Chargers just start losing these games. You're a couple games behind the Chargers, but they have the tiebreaker. You're a few games behind the Broncos, but they haven't yet had their bye. So this is a massively important game. The Broncos are a weird team. Their defense is one of the best ever. I mean, best ever that they've had in years, and they've had some good defenses. They're on pace, on trajectory to potentially break the NFL sack record, which is, it's a lot, and I don't think it's sustainable. But yeah, the Broncos, they're a really good defense. Bo Nix, rather up and down QB, kind of comes alive late in games. That's where they've been able to make plays in the fourth quarter. They put 33 points up on the Giants and won that game. They've won some weird games, but they found ways to win. Something to watch for the Broncos, though, J.K. Dobbins hurt his foot in their last game on Thursday Night Football, and he's their primary running back. I mean, look, 772 yards through 10 games. He's on pace for, will it show me his projected? I think it will. 1,300 yards and 7 rushing touchdowns. And he might be dealing with a foot sprain. We'll see. But he got hip drop tackled on Thursday Night Football and was very upset about it. That's arguably the best player on the Broncos offense. You might not have him. On defense, they might not have Pat Surtain II, PS2. Now, that defense is still great even without him. Even he's Defensive Player of the Year guy. This is not going to be an easy game. You're going to Denver. You're playing on the road, hostile territory. The Chiefs are favored by 4, though. Their back's up against the wall. We'll get some clarity from Andy Reid later this week. And as we watch the injury report on some of the players that we need to watch for, Jawan Taylor with the ankle, Josh Simmons, how does he look, and is he a full go? Is he going to be trending and on pace to play against the Denver Broncos, even though he hasn't played a game in over a month? That's going to be a big one to watch because the Broncos lead the NFL right now with 46 sacks. There's a two-way tie for second, and those teams, I can't remember who they are right now. I think it might be the Seahawks. I can't remember who it is. But the Broncos are in first with 46. It's a two-way tie at second, and those teams have 32. The Chiefs have 20 sacks, by the way. Benito, Jonathan Cooper, like both of those guys are incredible off the edge. That's going to be a tough one. It's going to be difficult. I do think the Chiefs can win this game. I have some confidence there, but it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. And yeah, the Broncos are 8-2. They've won some weird fluky games, but they keep finding ways to win. If I had to say, hey, game on the line, who are you trusting, Mahomes or Nix? Obviously, I'm going to say Mahomes. But if you flip it and say game on the line, who are you trusting, Spags and that defense or the Broncos and their defense? That's where it's like, well, it's tough. I want to say Mahomes. And I think that's who prevails in the end because he's one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. But Vance Joseph, great DC. That defense has given the Chiefs offense fits before several times, played them close. It's not going to be an easy game is what I'm saying. I still think the Chiefs can win. You really need to win it. If you don't, you're 5-5. You're in danger. You're in trouble here a little bit. You can still win enough games to claw your way to the wild card round, but you want to win this game and focus up on winning the AFC West for the 10th year in a row. You've won every year since 2016. This isn't a surprise that the AFC West is better. We've been saying the AFC West is getting better. I said this year, hey, it's going to be more difficult. I think I had it Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers, Raiders was my order. Just the Chiefs have lost a couple of games that I don't think they should have, and you find yourself down. You're not down much, but that's why this game is so important, and it's just going to be one to watch. The Chiefs find themselves in a weird spot, man, but yeah, there's much more to talk about with this game that we'll get into later this week. I have an interview with Brandon Perna tomorrow. We're going to do like a little bit of a preview. That's Brandon Perna of That's Good Sports, and And we'll probably drop that video on Thursday. We'll have a video tomorrow and a full preview video on Friday. There's definitely much more to dive into with this game. But with that being said, that's just kind of where we're at. And it was a slower week, less to talk about really with the Chiefs because they're coming off of their bye. Les1, thanks so much for the 4. I got to thank whoever gifted me the membership. Have you seen Cheetah tweet that regard to Packers trade to the Bills? No. I don't know what that is. I have not, but I saw McCole Hardman signed to the Bills practice squad. I did see that. Thank you for the 4 months. Dub Freak with the 10. Hey, Cole, hope you and the fam are good. Yeah, I got to admit, Benito, Allen, they scare me. If Simmons doesn't play, I fear Moore is going to get dunked on. But I hope I'm wrong and Pat has a clean pocket. Yeah, here's the reality. Even if you have your O-line at full strength, that D-line is so good, there's just going to be times where they win. And you're going to have to do your best to weather the storm, make plays happen, quick passing game. If you can get the run game going a little bit, that would be helpful. Anything you can do to take pressure off of your left and right tackle. Some chip help, yes, but it's just the other stuff. The extension of the run game, bootlegs, doing stuff that screen passes, doing stuff that will cause the pass rushers to pause a little bit. And something else that will help for the Chiefs is, it's something I've been saying every week, but it's just based on the identity of this team right now. I do think they need to go up early in these games. The offense needs to go up early and then force opposing offenses to become a little bit more one-dimensional. The Broncos want to run the ball. They're weird on offense right now, man. I took a couple stats down. I think they're the most penalized team in the NFL. What else did I write down about their offense? Because they had a couple interesting weird ones. They had the second most 3-and-outs in the NFL, second most drops in the NFL. Yeah, they're tied for first in penalties with the Jags. 83 penalties. Now that's including defense. They're first in offsides on defense and first in DPI. Physical, aggressive, get after you type of team. I'm not surprised by the flags. It's fine. But Bo Nix, man, very up and down guy. Much better late in games. 40 overthrows so far this season. That leads the NFL. Second least blitzed quarterback in the NFL. He's better when you don't blitz him. So we'll see. Spags loves to blitz. So does Vance Joseph. It's going to be a violent game of chess, and we'll see, man. It's much respect to the Broncos for me. They've been fun to troll around about and dunk on for years. But the last couple, and really since Sean Payton came to town and he started being able to morph that team, he's been doing a good job. Coaching matters. Sean Payton. Whatever you want to think of his past and some of the other stuff, the scandals or the controversies, why he was suspended, all that, okay. But he's still a good coach. And then Harbaugh with the Chargers, good coach. Coaching matters. Look what Andy Reid did with the Kansas City Chiefs the first year he came to town in 2013. Coaching absolutely matters. So the teams are getting better. The coaching is getting better. And that's like a big piece of it to me. So the AFC West wasn't going to be easy heading into this season. Very important game. Still control your own destiny. The Chiefs do. You got the Broncos twice. You got the Chargers and the Raiders still. 4 AFC West games, and you're 1-1 so far out of the 6. You beat the Raiders. You lost to the Chargers week 1 in Brazil in an unfortunate game that you could have won. There was a possibility to win that game for sure. I get it. You lost Worthy 3 plays in, but it is what it is. Herbert played a really good game, and yeah, so the AFC West is not getting any easier. Jennifer, thanks so much for the 11-11. Thanks to all our veterans on Veterans Day as well. Heck yeah, I saw the Chiefs shared something. I reposted it. But yeah, if you served in the military, if you got family or friends that served in the military, I haven't served. I have some family that has served, but man, much respect and really appreciate you guys. I just think it's an important thing to recognize those who have willingly served this country, whether it was years back, recently, a combination of the two, served for a long time, a little, it doesn't really matter. The fact that you would be willing to do that, man, it is nothing but respect and appreciation for me. You can have your qualms about certain aspects of America. but it is one of the greatest countries, if not the greatest one to live in this current day and age. And I'm very grateful and blessed to be able to live here. A free country, don't have to worry about much in the sense of I got water, I got power, I got food, could feed my family, we got shelter. I can just talk about football all day. Like, it is a great place to be. And so I'm very grateful for that indeed. And I trained in martial arts for like 12 years, very disciplined, like just a disciplinary sport or a way of life. And I trained with a lot of military people over the years. And yeah, you got to shout them out. You got to give respect, man. I think there's probably veterans in this chat. I know Marcus is in here, and there's probably others that have served. So appreciate the hell out of you guys. Heather, thank you so much for the 2 months. Let's go. I wonder how much Sean Payton's bounty is this week. Nah, we done with the bounty. No more bounty gate. Do you have any non-Chief shirts? Yeah, I have some like regular, just plain shirts, but the majority of my shirts that I wear are Chief shirts, and most of them are from Made Mob. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Made Mob is dropping some Derek Thomas apparel, which I thought was really cool. So they dropped, I'm trying to find it. They dropped a shirt earlier today, but I think they're dropping even more. Yeah, here it is. They're dropping this Derek Thomas shirt, which I thought was so cool. He was my favorite player growing up, and when Derek Thomas passed away, may he rest in peace. My dad went to the memorial service they had for him at Arrowhead. I think my grandma went with him. So yeah, he was my favorite player growing up, man. And this was cool to see. I think they're partnering with his family in some capacity for this. I need to look into it more. But yeah, saw that shirt, bought it this morning. You can go to mademob.com and just use code HBT Chiefs if you want to get 20% off. I'm an affiliate with them, but I most of their shirts I wear are Made Mob, 99%. And I have a couple things that I got in the mail that we'll look at in a second. We got some hot sauce, and we got some merch, like the merch Rashee Rice and them were wearing pregame for a couple of weeks, so that's pretty cool. We will look at that here soon. Marcus with the 5 gifted. Hey, let's go, bro. Thank you, man. The 5 gifted. Gateway with the 5 bomb. Hey, Cole, just went to the Commanders game on Monday Night Football a few weeks ago. Had an absolute blast. What a game to go to. If I remember right, stressful first half. I think it was, 7-7, and then the Chiefs scored 21 unanswered in the second half. Yeah, I think we can beat the Broncos. Just got to get the ball out quick. Yeah, and that's worth talking about, because if I'm the Broncos, I am studying the Bills game. And hopefully the Chiefs just come in with a better game plan, because I feel like the Bills did a good job of taking the quick answers away from the Chiefs. And that's why you got Mahomes in the pocket sometimes, and he's just standing there. And you're like, throw it. Throw it. And a lot of those pressures, I think 18 of his 20 pressures came after 2.5 seconds. So if I'm the Broncos, I'm studying that. But then if I'm the Chiefs, you're looking to zag off that zig, or whatever, however you want to phrase it, and come out with a better game plan. We got Brand with the 5 gifted as well, and Night Hunter with the 5 gifted. Everybody's going 5 gifted. You get 5, you get 5, you get 5. Thank you so much. Heather with the 5 bomb. I believe the Chiefs can take the Broncos. They just need to get that hunger for the win. Start out hot. Something again in the Bills game. I think they went 3 and out on their opening drive in the first quarter when they got the ball. They went 3 and out to start the second half. This isn't the Bills offense we're talking about here, but it's a much better defense. It's almost the inverse, even though Bo Nix can just like randomly come alive. He can just randomly come alive and make plays. Inconsistent, but late in games especially, pressure's on. He's kind of been rising to the occasion and helping that team squeak out wins. It's not Josh Allen in that offense, right? Now, the defense is just way better, but the Bills' defense, down personnel, down players, they still gave the Chiefs problems. And that pass rush gave the Chiefs problems. Well, if you think the Bills pass rush, I don't know why I said Bills, if you think the Bills pass rush was a problem, well, the Broncos are on a different level entirely. A mile high. No, corny joke. But yeah, it's a much better defense. And that's why it's like, okay, if you can get Josh Simmons back, it's massively important. If that bye week helped Trey Smith's back, that's massively important. Jawan Taylor's ankle, massively important. Because you need that line functioning at as close to 100% as humanly possible. Well, we have Jennifer with a 5 gifted as well. Everybody's going crazy. Night Hunter with 5 more, with a 38 months, which is crazy. Going on 4 years now, and I still love this place. Let's freaking go. Night Hunter, you're one of the OGs, man. 38 months is crazy. Nix isn't a scrambler. Yeah, let me read that. Nix isn't a scrambler, but he knows when he needs to get out of the pocket. Yeah, Ashton, I had a stat somewhere. 43% of Bo's scrambles have come in the fourth quarter. So he will run a little bit more later in games as he needs to. You are right. He doesn't scramble a lot. I haven't looked up his scramble stats. I think Mahomes probably has way more than him, but he's still quick with his legs and athletic and able to at times. Stan with the 10 months. Who the F is Perna? Who was that again? Was that Cam Newton? I think it was Cam Newton on his podcast, right? Everybody was spamming Perna Raid or something, and he said, who the F is Perna? About time with the 28 months. Let's bear them donkeys. Let's go, man. Allie with the 20 months. 4 more months until 2 years, which is crazy. Also, after the performance by the Broncos, our defense can probably stop them. The offense is my concern. Yeah, so a couple things to tack on about the Thursday Night Football game. Divisional games get weird. There was a bunch of wind. It was also a Thursday Night Football game. So if you're the Broncos, you're going in there, hey, let's just escape with a win. That is what they did. Now, I don't think they wanted to punt a million times and do absolutely nothing for the majority of the game. I think they would have liked to move the ball a bit more. They just struggled and weren't able to. Okay? So the defense kept them in it, but they did get a W, and they move on again. It's so annoying. This team, you're like, hey, can you lose a game? They're like, nah, we're good. We're not doing that. They started out, 1-2? And I think they've won like 6 games straight since then. Yeah, they're on a 6-game win streak, man. Frustrating, but you got to give them credit. Les won with the 5 bomb. Thank you. I knew someone who was close with Cheetah in real life. I believe after the season he might retire and head back to KC. He missed KC more than Miami. Well, if the Dolphins let him go or release him, whatever, they're going to have to eat, I think, a little bit of dead money, but I don't think they're going to keep him around based on the structure of that contract and him coming off such a serious knee injury. So he could very well be a free agent. That's just so in the future for me. I don't know if the Chiefs would re-sign him or anything like that, but I do think one day, whenever that is, when Tyreek Hill wants to retire, I would think he comes back, he signs a 1-day contract and retires a Kansas City Chief. Denise with the 35 months. Hopefully we get things figured out to beat the Donkeys. Yep, heck yeah. Hope so. VL said, let's face it, this is a must-win. If they don't, it's possible they miss the playoffs. It's crazy to think about. Yeah, very crazy just because of how much success the Chiefs have had year in and year out. Since Andy Reid came to town, yes, but since Patrick Mahomes took over as QB1 in 2018 especially, yeah, this is a very important game. If you lose this game, I'm not out on them making the playoffs. If I had to put money down, I think I'd still put quite a bit of money down that the Chiefs do end up making the playoffs, but you need to win this game to control your own destiny rather than having to rely on the destiny of other teams either winning or losing certain games. You don't want to have to deal with that. I was looking for water and don't have any. You don't want to have to deal with that. 24/7 Football said, I'm a new bandwagon fan. Chiefs are fun to watch. Hey, man, all are welcome. Let's go. They've been a little bit more stressful over the past couple of years, but this year have been more fun when they win, for sure. The offense in general has been more fun. Paul said, FYI, Cole, City made, did the Everybody Gotta Eat shirt the players wore pregame, not made mob? Yeah, I know. Yeah, sir. I actually got them here. City made right here. Bam. That's what I was going to talk about when I said I got shirts in the mail that the Chiefs players wore pregame. It's from City Made Co., I believe. Yeah, City Made, and they sent me some shirts in the mail. So I was like, that's actually a perfect transition to open them, because I think there's 2 in here. Am I wrong? No. I think I am wrong. But there is this one. Boom. This shirt that they were wearing, pregame, Everybody Gotta Eat, I bought this one. I was like, dude, I got to buy this one. So this is from City Made. These are the guys that make it. So heck yeah, dude. This shirt's freaking sick. I got to put this on. I can't double wear shirts right now. I'm going to sweat up a storm under the bright lights. But yeah, this shirt, it's from City Made. Let me double check their website because I do want to link it. I want to make sure. I think it's not that. Dang it. If anybody knows the website, let me know. I don't know it off the top of my head. This is it. Yeah. Okay. It's citymadeco.com. It's these shirts. Everybody got to eat. So if you want to buy one of these shirts and support them, they're just Chiefs fans. They're Chiefs fans that make some merch. Yeah. So there's the Everybody Got to Eat shirt. That's this one. And it's real good quality. Thick. I like it. Heck yeah. Boom. If you want to support them, that's the link to it. And I bought that with my own money. So I just thought it was cool and wanted to support some Chiefs fans making some dope merch. Mitchell with the 26 months. Can we get some beatbox and finish with the back spinning kick? If you know, you know. How about this, Chiefs, dude? Hilarious, man. Thank you, bro. I maybe at the end. No spinning back kicks though. I'm retired. Heather with the 5 bomb. Thank you so much. Hey, heard a rumor. Scheffer's entire crew got released by the NFL for bad missed calls. Any confirmation? I didn't see anything about that. I feel like if that was the case, I would have seen it on Twitter. That's the first I've heard of it, though. I don't think that's true. I think that would be a really big story if it was true. And talked about by multiple NFL insiders. So I don't think so. It would be kind of funny. I feel like the Super Bowl team mindset has negative too. Assuming that doesn't need chip help, not showing plays because of playoff film, time to get aggressive. Let's go, Thomas. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that the Chiefs went into that Bills game holding back plays personally. I think you go in there with the game plan that you think you can win with. And maybe some of that was a lack of a proper game plan, but I don't think they're withholding plays to go into this game to risk falling to 5-4 against the Buffalo Bills. That's just me personally. Now, in years past, I think you could get away with that a little bit more. Yes, when you are 2, 3, sometimes 4 games ahead in your division because the Broncos, the Raiders, the Chargers were bad, and you were on the path to the 1 seed. It's a little bit different now. I don't think there's anything being held back in these games. Now, do you add additional wrinkles later in the playoffs based on teams and their tendencies? Absolutely. But I'm just personally, in my opinion, not of the mindset right now, the last few weeks especially, that the Chiefs are just kind of going in there being like, we'll just kind of go vanilla. If we win, we win. If we don't, it's fine. We'll figure out a way. You're 5-4. You were 5-3 before, and you needed to go to 6-3, and you didn't. I think they got out-coached and out-executed against the Buffalo Bills, personally. Aaron Jacobson with the 35 months. Dude, let's go. How many more games do you think we can lose and still make the playoffs? You're the best. Nah, you're the best. I think you've got to have 11 wins probably to get in there. If you have 11 wins, it means you're what, 11-6? Which means you can only lose 2 more games. What the heck is wrong with this computer? Why is it showing us on a beach, dude? It's not the bye week no more. Wake up. Wake up, computer. What are you doing, man? Ashton thinks you can get into the playoffs at 9-8. I don't know, because the Bills are going to be a wild card team if the Patriots win their division. Like look at this. That's going to be difficult. Can I go here and go to... I had it pulled up, the playoffs, but I don't anymore, of course. Standings. Here we go. Bam. I mean, unless these teams just start losing a bunch of games, you're going to be competing if you don't win the division. Because the question is, how many games could the Chiefs lose and still make the playoffs? Well, that means, okay, if the Chiefs aren't going to win their division, you're going to be competing with the Bills if they don't win their division, the Chargers if they don't win their division, the Jags. Like that's the three teams, or the Steelers, I guess, if the Ravens end up winning their division. You can't have much more than like 6 losses, in my opinion. Maybe 7, 10-7. But that's really getting dangerous there. Yeah, some of these teams can go 9-8 and win their division and get into the playoffs. It's just, if it's a very competitive division like the AFC West, absolutely not. Broncos, Chargers, too good right now. Winning too many games. You guys will win your division? I think so. You get a vacation and you get a vacation. Yeah, I don't know. My computer was showing a beach, man. Cole, about Schefter's crew, I'm most likely sure it was Brad Allen's crew that got fired after the controversial call with the Lions. I don't know. I didn't hear anything about that, but I won't say it didn't happen. Do you usually get Made Mob? Yeah, like 90% of my shirts, 95% that I wear in my videos are Made Mob. Yep. Do you feel like them pushing it to Rice so much left some on the field? Asked Thomas. But like besides his first game back, they weren't giving some guys opportunities. It's hard with no run game, though. I don't know. I think since Rice's return, it's kind of been him and Kelsey. Now, are you saying is sometimes Mahomes looking a little bit too much to Rice? I don't know. I think you're going to want to look for your playmakers, man. And one guy I would like to see them use a little bit more is Tyquan Thornton. He hasn't been used nearly as much, and I think he is a valuable deep threat that could be utilized a little bit more in the offense. I'm trying to find Rice's game log. Yeah, here we go. Found it. Bam. Yeah, I mean, it's been great to have Rice back. 80 yards, 93 yards, 42 yards in his last 3 games since being back with the team. Had a couple rushing a couple carries rather. 1 for a touchdown. No, I think it's fine to look for Rice, but I understand the thought of like, hey, sometimes these quarterbacks can get in their head a little bit and they're looking too much to the guys that they trust. But because of that, there's other guys being open at times. Like, yeah, maybe. There's a couple plays where Mahomes had others open. He had Noah Gray on a play. And I don't know that it was because he was looking to Rice or anything else, but he had Worthy open on another play, but bailed a clean pocket. You're going to have misses. Sometimes it's just going to happen, but you're going to have your playmakers as the primary reads on a lot of these plays. So yeah, sure. Sometimes maybe like Hollywood or pick somebody else is open, but they might be like the third read on that play. So sometimes Mahomes isn't even getting there. A lot of people were freaking out about Kelsey being open on the left side of the play where I think Mahomes threw the interception into double coverage. Kelsey wasn't even part of the play, guys. He didn't even look for the ball. He did not turn around and look at Mahomes. He was not part of the read progression. There was 3 on the right side, and Mahomes was either needing to probably go to Rice near the first down, or he took a shot downfield, I think to Worthy. But Kelsey, he was open, kind of, but he wasn't part of the read progression, and he wasn't expecting the ball either. So it's kind of a mixed bag. The run game just kind of is what it is, and you don't have Pacheco. He might not be playing this week either. Andy Reid said yesterday, we'll see about Pacheco. He didn't seem that confident yet. He seemed more confident about Jawan Taylor being able to play, though. But yeah, the run game is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and beat a dead horse about the run game because there's nothing else you can do now. They didn't make a move for the trade deadline. The only thing you could really do is get Pacheco healthy, and then maybe you start to see a little bit more snaps from Brashard Smith, but it just kind of is what it is. Yo, what's up, Football 7W? Cole, you see the linebacker Alex Singleton for the Broncos had surgery? Yeah, he had, I think it was testicular cancer, and had a successful surgery. Glad. I don't know if he's going to be playing because of that. I don't think so. I mean, he just had surgery, so I don't think he's playing this week. I could be wrong. J.K. Dobbins is another one to watch for the Broncos as well. And then PS2. I don't think he's playing, but he's not on IR. So got to be watching out for him as well. Falcon with the 18 months. You think us going after Boye Mafe was a knock on our linebackers? He's more of a pass rusher. Yeah, he's like an outside linebacker. So he would be a guy you add on the end. He's basically a defensive end, the pass rusher. Yeah, so if you don't know what Falcon's talking about, the Chiefs reportedly made a push to trade for Boye Mafe of the Seattle Seahawks. But at the last minute, the Seahawks changed their mind. So they tried to make a push for Boye Mafe. They tried to make a trade for Breece Hall, and neither of them materialized. You're a little hampered if you're the Chiefs. You have 6 draft picks next year, I think, right now, and they're all late round picks because you're going to be one of the best teams in the league or make a deep playoff run is the theory. So a lot of these teams, when Veach offers them draft picks, are like, dude, your 4th round pick is almost a 5th. We want a 3rd. It just becomes a little bit more difficult. It's champagne problems. But yeah, the Chiefs tried to make a push for a D lineman. They tried to make a push for a running back, and neither happened. So yeah, the pass rush is a bigger concern to me, or the lack thereof, compared to the running back room. Because remember, even with the running backs the Chiefs do have, they put up 28 or more points 5 games in a row before heading to Buffalo, and we're averaging about 30 points a game during that span. So yeah, you don't have a great running back room. Okay, we've had some discussions about running backs recently during the bye week because Breece Hall kind of popped up on Twitter with taking like a 30, 40-yard screen pass to the house. And I'm like, yeah, maybe Brashard Smith could do that, but Pacheco's not doing that. And Kareem Hunt just doesn't have the burst to do that. So the run game is what it is, but you're a pass-heavy team, and you're just going to have to do that. I mean, basically, if you do run the ball, you're very good in short yardage. Kareem Hunt is elite on short yardage situations. You just don't have burst. You don't have a lot of explosive plays out of the running back room. Look, dude, I don't care who tells you that it's the O-line. No, it's not. Sometimes, yes. Sometimes Andy Reid, whatever. Sometimes it's also just a lack of a playmaker in the backfield. Dead last in missed tackles forced on 1st and 2nd downs in the NFL. Bottom 3 in explosive plays. There are times when the line holds up and they do their job, and you have a lack of a playmaker back there. Just is what it is. Sometimes it's on the O-line. Sometimes it's on the running back room. It's not changing. So there you have it. My bigger concern, because I think the offense can kind of like get around that with the running back room a little bit, but you got to go up early. And then that helps the pass rush. That helps the Chiefs pass rush because they don't have a great pass rush right now. So if you go up early, you force the opposing offenses to become a little bit more one-dimensional, and that helps. I feel like the running back room is just as important because you can't put everything on Mahomes. No, for sure. I do think it's important, but you just have who you have. So all I can do is say, well, hopefully Pacheco comes back healthy, and he's looking good as he can be. I think he was playing a little bit better before that injury. Brashard Smith, you could start increasing his snap counts a little bit. Elijah Mitchell, I don't know what the heck he's doing on the roster. I don't know. It's not a diss to Elijah Mitchell. They just aren't using him. So all you can do is look at who you have and say, well, what can you do to be a little bit better, a little bit more effective? Some of that could be play calling. Some of that could be Mahomes handing off footballs on RPOs, because on an RPO, if it's a true RPO, Mahomes can hand the ball off or he can throw it. Well, my argument for a more dynamic playmaker in the backfield would be, if Mahomes thought that running back had a chance of going off for 25 plus yards, I bet you he would hand it off a little bit more on RPOs. But you can still get a solid 4, 5, 6 yards, and it can still be effective and help you sustain drives and move the chains. So that's what you're going to be doing right now in the run game, is just have a successful 4-ish yard run. If it's 2nd and 10, get you to 3rd and 5 if that's when you run. If it's 1st and 10, anything 4 yards or more, whether it's pass or run, is considered a successful play if you're not like backed up. Right? 4 yards, 4 yards. That's 3rd and 2. And the Chiefs are very good on 3rd down. Very good on fourth down. So move it like that. Old Navy in the house. Navy Vet says, thanks for the shout, Cole. Heck yeah, man. Thank you for the 36 months. Reid usually wins coming off a bye. Let's hope that continues. Yeah, that's another aspect. I think Chief Concerns. Is it Chiefs Concerns? Where did they share that tweet? They had an interesting tweet worth sharing. Where was that bad boy? Oh, I thought they had one about the bye week. Maybe I don't see that one. Yeah, but Andy Reid's very good coming off the bye. Now, the Broncos are kind of coming off of a mini bye. The Broncos played on Thursday Night Football, so they get a mini bye. In the regular season, Andy Reid holds a 22-4 record after the bye during his head coaching career. That was courtesy of an article today on Arrowhead Addict put out by Braden Holsek. I don't know if I said that last name right, but yeah, 22-4 coming out of the bye during his head coaching career. I feel like it's even more. Yeah, it's more in his coaching career, but head coaching career, 22-4. So the odds are pretty good. And then if you look at it historically, even just in the Mahomes era, how many times has Mahomes lost to the Broncos? Twice? Maybe? Once? I don't know. It's not much. Yeah, keep that going. Exactly. Cole, they were talking about you yesterday on 96.5 The Fan. Oh, cool. I was actually on there yesterday. Carrington Harrison, he had me on his show on the drive. It was my first radio appearance. I had like a little 10-minute segment, so was on there for a little bit. It was really cool that once. Nice. Once. It was the game where Mahomes was sick, right? He had like the stomach bug overnight, and you're like, oh boy, that's not good. And he came out and just had a pretty bad game, but he was sick as a dog. Is this an unreleased shirt from Made Mob? Okay, so this one is a Made Mob shirt, but it's actually a partnered collab t-shirt with Boulevard Brewery. So you actually, I believe, need to go to Boulevard, their website, and buy it there. It's a partnership because Creed Humphrey is he's partnered with Boulevard. So I think it was a collab, like a crossover that they did with Made Mob. Pretty sure. How do you think your O-line would go against our D-line? What's up, Broncos fan 10 in the house? Yeah, I talked a little bit about it earlier because you guys have a really good D-line, 46 sacks on the year. Benito, Jonathan Cooper. There's several guys on that line that are just very good. I shared a tweet the other day where I was talking about how many sacks the Chiefs D-line had compared to how many sacks the Broncos D-line had. And I think I could find it pretty quickly. Yeah, here we go. So here you go. Let's look at this for a second. Here's the Chiefs defenders who have had more than one sack. Okay, so this isn't counting just in the screenshot anybody that's had one sack, but anybody that's had over one. Chanel, 1.5. Tranquil, 2. Chris Jones, 2. Omenihu, 2. Karloftis, 5. All right, you ready for this? Here's every Broncos player who has more than one sack. Nick Benito, 9.5. Jonathan Cooper, 7.5. Zach Allen, 6. Franklin Myers, 4.5. It just keeps going. Insane, dude. So, yeah, the D-line is a problem. Absolutely. We need to see about the Chiefs O-line. And if you get Josh Simmons back, and how is Trey Smith in his back? How is Jawan Taylor in that ankle? You need to be as 100% as humanly possible. So that's going to be a big key in this game. The battle of the trenches, specifically talking about Broncos D-line, Chiefs O-line. You'd love to have Derek Thomas back alive and in his prime, dude. Me too. Holy smokes! No Surtain is a big deal. Rice will eat. That's true to an extent because PS2 is one of the best corners, if not the best corner in all of football. Depending on where you're looking, he's top 3 in almost all of them, right? But we said that about the Buffalo Bills. We said, dude, look, that corner's hurt. Their nickelback, Taron Johnson, got hurt late in practice. Their safety room was banged up. They had Jordan Poyer running around. That dude's like 48. So we said that about the Bills secondary, and they did a pretty freaking good job, if I'm going to be honest. Cole Bishop had the game of his life. So, sure, PS2 being out if he doesn't play. It's not confirmed yet, but I think it's unlikely he plays. But him being out helps. They still got other guys and a very, very savage defensive line. Marcus with the 5-bomb. Let's go, dude. I don't know if we said it yet, but happy Veterans Day to all my, thank you all my fellow service members. Appreciate your service and sacrifice. I actually did. I don't remember when, but I talked about Veterans Day for a couple of minutes, and I shouted you out, Marcus. So thank you for your service, man. I don't know. I can't remember. It was within the first probably like 10 minutes. I did talk about it for a couple minutes, brother. So if you find it, I did give you a shout out there. Justin Simmons not there anymore. Thank God Justin Simmons isn't there. What do you think caused us to lose the last game against the Bills? A mixed bag, I think. The defense struggled a little bit, but it's because the Bills could play their game. They were up 7, 10, 11 at times, and they were able to run with James Cook. The Chiefs aren't exactly stout against the run. They're good at limiting explosives, but where they really struggle is off of play action. So you're trailing by a score or two sometimes in that game. The Bills could just kind of play their game. Put up, 4 touchdowns in that one? So that was part of it. And then the Chiefs just, they struggled. They were playing from behind. They couldn't get their run game going as much as they probably would have liked because the Bills' defense is a bottom 3 run defense. Well, when you're trailing by, it was like 10-21 at one point even. When you're trailing like that, you do kind of abandon the run. I mean, every team does that. Some people were knocking Andy Reid, I think, unnecessarily for abandoning the run. But it was 10-21. So it's like, I get it. And it's not like you're handing it off to Saquon Barkley or Jonathan Taylor. You know what I mean? So you kind of had to. That's just how their offense operates. They're a pass-first team anyway. If you go up in games, that'll change it a little bit. And then the struggles with Mahomes, like some of it was the pressure. Some of it he missed reads, he missed throws. Some of it guys just struggled to get open. The Bills had a good game plan. It was kind of a mixed bag. He bailed the pocket when it was clean a few times, thinking that it wasn't going to be clean. So a little uncharacteristic there, but that's what happens when you don't trust your line to hold or you get a little bit of happy feet. I think Josh Simmons over there will help, but I still get a little bit nervous about the return of Simmons and this being his first game back in over like 5 weeks. Hey, Josh, know you've been away dealing with family issues. Welcome back to the NFL. Here's the Denver's D-line. Will he do a good job? If they think he's ready to play, of course. But you're going to come back a little rusty, right? And so you're going to have to shake off the cobwebs pretty quickly. What's up, Terry? What do you think we need to improve this week? I mean, if I had to pick a couple things maybe on both sides of the ball, I just think some of it's O-line related and having Simmons back and being a little bit more healthy, holding up for Mahomes, making him feel a little bit more confident in the pocket, but that's easier said than done against this defense. A better game plan, coaching-wise, that's going to help. And then Mahomes just needs to play at a little bit higher of a level. He had a sub 50% completion percentage for the first time in his NFL career. So those are a couple things that would for sure help. Is Andy mad at Josh? I have no idea. I think they've been in communication with him for weeks now. So you got to balance personal stuff with work stuff and try to navigate that as a human being, right? Like, yeah, Josh Simmons has paid a lot of money to play football, but he was dealing with a personal family matter that had his attention for a bit. And I know it was an unusual circumstance, but you think if when Josh Simmons comes back, Andy Reid's going to start berating him and lecturing him? I highly doubt it. You got to be sensitive to these matters, right? So I don't think he's mad. No. Mr. Fantov, Broncos fan in the house, said, man, I cannot believe we won't have J.K. Dobbins for this game. I actually feel nervous. Yeah, I was talking about it earlier, man. That is your playmaker, bar none. 700 and something yards on the year already. That is your number one playmaker on offense for sure. That is a loss that is going to be felt in a Broncos offense that already is tied for second. What is it? Second in punts. The Eagles are first right now in 3 and outs. No, let me back this up. Second most 3 and outs, second most drops in the NFL, but I think you also have the second most punts, or maybe the first most punts. It's something like that. You already struggle sometimes to get going, right? But sometimes you just say, okay, yeah, we'll punt it. We'll give it back to whoever's over there because our defense is going to get us the ball back. So that's what happens when you have an absolutely elite defense. But J.K. Dobbins potentially not playing in this game is it's a big loss. It definitely is. There's no way around it. Need some Rice RPO slants over the middle badly. Heck yeah, Char Binks with the 2-bomb. Thank you, man. I like that a lot. Cole, you're at 299,000 subs. Yeah, we are getting close. I don't think we're at the 500 mark. We're at 299,430. So we're about 500 or so subs off from 300K, which is a really cool milestone. It doesn't change anything for me. Still just trying to make content every single day for you guys. But, well, yeah, the 100K milestone was crazy. That's where you get the plaque. 200K was awesome too. And 300K, I'll definitely have a beer in celebration for 300K. Is Jalen Royals good? To be determined, but it just doesn't help that he's in a very stacked wide receiver room. Who are you benching for Jalen Royals right now? Nobody. That's the problem. Rice, Hollywood, Worthy, like Tyquan Thornton is your deep threat. Who are you benching? I do think there was a potential path to more playing time for Royals earlier on in the season as a semi-Rice replacement. Similar skill set, yards after the catch, quick burst guy, but he got hurt and he missed time. And when you miss time and you're a rookie, that just makes for some difficult hoops to jump through in Andy Reid's offense. So I don't think he's bad, but I don't really see much of a path to playing time right now for Jalen Royals, especially given the state of the wide receiver room right now. Yeah, Thornton as well, your deep threat, if I didn't say that already. Cole, can you believe Broncos are 1-2 against teams that have a winning record? Well, they lost their first 2 early, and they've won 6 straight. So, I mean, I guess I don't care so much about that. I mean, to some extent, yeah, you need context. So they beat the Titans 20-12. They lost to the Colts by 1. That's a really good team. You lost to the Chargers by 3. That's a good team. Divisional game. You stomped the Bengals 28-3. Talking about the Broncos. You beat the Eagles 21-17. You beat the Jets 13-11. The Giants 33-22. You spanked the Cowboys 44-24. You beat the Texans 18-15. The Raiders 10-7. So yeah, a lot of these teams don't have winning records. The Titans don't. The Bengals don't. The Jets, Giants. Do the Cowboys? They're around 500. I think the Texans are 4-5, if I had to guess off the top of my head, and then the Raiders have a losing record as well. The Texans, are 3-5. Yeah, 3-5. So, yeah, but yes, that is true. But also, divisional games get weird. I put them in their own subcategory, unless they're the Raiders, I guess. I put them in their own subcategory because these teams focus on each other more than any other team in the NFL. Because if you win your division, you earn a spot automatically in the playoffs. Sent you a DM on Discord. It's okay to read it on stream, but looking for help. Reeps, what's up, dude? Thank you so much for the 5-bomb, man. I have not been on Discord today, so I don't know when you sent it, but I could definitely check it here soon, brother. All the O-line needs to do is hold up against the front 4. If teams need to blitz Mahomes, if they need to blitz, Mahomes will punish them. Yes. Oh, man. Reeps is his dad's losing his battle to cancer. Has about 3 months left, possibly before Christmas. Reeps said, I'm trying to find a contact with anyone in the Chiefs organization that may be able to possibly have him meet anyone in the org. Really want him to have the best experience with these last moments. If you know or know anyone that can point us in the right direction, I would greatly appreciate it. Well, Reeps, dude, I'm really sorry to hear that. I know that's been a battle with your dad. You guys, really, your whole family, been with him every step of the way I feel like it's been a year, maybe longer. I don't personally, but we could try. We could try to put some feelers out for sure and see if there's some place we could contact for that. Yeah, we could definitely try. I'm sorry again, man. Sheesh. Reeps is a legend on the channel. Been here for a long time. Watching from my cruise ship in Mexico, by the way. You're watching from your cruise ship in Mexico? Nice. Maybe that's why the computer back here turned into the beach. It wants to be on the cruise. Yeah, man. Reeps, if we can do something, I don't know, Brand or FLDB, follow up with me if you're in stream after this. I can try to reach out. I don't really have connects in the building, but we could definitely try. Even if we put out like a tweet or something, there's got to be a way to try to get in contact with somebody there. As a Pats fan, I wish the Chiefs best of luck, mainly so we can get closer to the 1 seed. What's up, Dashy? Man, dude, Drake May? This is an example of coaching, man. I was talking earlier about what stable, great coaching can do to a team. That's what Sean Payton brought to the Broncos. Harbaugh's bringing to the Chargers. And Vrabel was a great get for the Patriots, man. That's what they needed, a solid, stable veteran coach rather than the route that you guys tried to go, I think, through like an in-house promotion after Belichick. You got Vrabel. Drake May is playing really good football, man. And that's not all credit to Vrabel. Drake May is also just taking a great, solid second-year leap. It's kind of frustrating because I'm like, dude, did the Patriots really get another franchise quarterback already? It's like, come on, dude. Come on. But, yeah, you guys are first in your division, and they're looking good. I mean, I don't know if Drake will win MVP, but he has a pretty solid case. If he keeps playing like he is, he has a legitimate case for it, that's for sure. Hannah with the 10, thank you so much. Bills used bunch formations to get perimeter in the run game or allow James Cook to cut back. Guess when cutback was used? Tillery was in all 22 film. Every time Tillery was in, they targeted him. Oh, great. That's cool. James Cook is a really good running back, and if the Broncos aren't going to have anybody like that if Dobbins isn't playing. So thankfully, you're not going to deal with a top 5 running back in the NFL that can cut like a madman and do that. But it is something worth noting. I don't remember who you heard that from, Hannah, but I recently saw something too. I don't know where I heard that. They were talking about every time 99 was in, because that's Tillery's number, right? I don't know where I heard that. But they said that they targeted him every time. Yep, 99. VL with the 2 bombs. Said, love your podcast. Listener from IN. I think that's Indiana, right? Let's go. Go Chiefs. Heck yeah, I got family in Indiana. Thank you. Glad you enjoy. Glad you're here. Brenda with the 38 months. Contact Matt, Derek, or Carrington about a contact in the org about Reeps' dad. Prayers to Reeps and family and dad. That's actually a good one. Carrington would be a good one. I could try to reach out to Matt, Derek. I do talk every now and again with like Pete Sweeney, so I could at least shoot a few messages out and see if we could just get in touch with somebody for sure. Harvey is decent, but he's no JK. Yeah, and isn't he more of your receiving back as well? And still a rookie, but yeah, he's good. I mean, if JK's not playing, you're going to have some of these guys be stepping up a little bit. That's for sure. Hope we see you guys in the playoffs. It would be a fun one. Ooh, little Chiefs versus Patriots. That would be fun, actually. Definitely would be fun. What will next year's cap space be spent on? I don't know, Nate. You can get out of Juwan Taylor's contract. If Kelsey doesn't return, that's $20 million freed up. You'll restructure Mahomes because you're not going to keep him on that contract. Chris Jones's cap hit is pretty high. Woo! So there's some there's some things to think about. You have a bunch of guys in the last year of their deals, too, that were drafted in 2022 outside of George Karlaftis and Trent McDuffie. He's got his fifth-year option. Guys on one-year deals, Hollywood. I mean, you can kind of go down the list there with one-year deals. Anybody in the running back room, or Pacheco's on the last year of his deal as well. So definitely some things to think about, but more on the front of my mind is getting past the Denver Broncos, if you can, which I think they can. But that's on the forefront. Yeah, he's more of a receiving back. Yes, sir. But I like that. I like what I've seen from him. Cole, any update on Jawan Taylor's injury? No one has been talking about it. I feel like he might miss a couple games or more. Well, Andy Reid said, okay, what did Andy Reid say yesterday? I actually talked about it in my video. You're going to need to go watch my video, man. I'm just playing. What did I say? See if I can find it. I'm just going to search for the word Jawan. All right. Andy Reid said Jawan was feeling pretty good ankle-wise by the time the team flew back to Kansas City from Buffalo and left for the bye week. So, quote, I think we'll probably be okay there. So Andy Reid makes it seem like Jawan Taylor is going to be good and able to play. 100% healthy? I don't know. Brenda with the 38 months. Yeah, okay, I read that. Brenda, thank you so much for the 38-month renewal red beard tier in the house. Hannah with the 2 bombs. Spags needs to let Ashton Gelati have more snaps. Yes, I think he does. I think we should start seeing a little bit of a trend upwards for Ashton Gelati. I agree. You messaged Nate Taylor? Nice. Grossi probably knows someone. Maybe. Because he visited every stadium. That's true. Well, let's see. Watching from the Streets of Gold? Every tribe. What's up? Streets of Gold? Where are you at, brother? Yep, Jawan has been good this year. Yeah, when not drawing flags, he's fine. And the back half of the season, the back half of the front half, the second quarter of the season, he hasn't really been flagged. Exactly. Is Chris Jones washed? No, but I did talk about it in yesterday's video. I talked about Chris Jones, and there's a couple things going on there. I don't have the tweet. I think I want the tweet, man. It's like an old enough tweet though. I'm like, man, where am I? I tweet too much. I could rewind back and I think I can find it. But there's, with Chris Jones, he has taken a step back, but so has his supporting cast. And it's really not close. I've got a tweet on it that if I can find it, you guys can like look at it as I talk about it because it would be very helpful. I think we're getting close. Here we go. Bam. All right. So let's talk about the D-line for a second. Chris Jones in 2024, he had the second highest pass rush grade among all interior defensive linemen in the NFL. First in pressures, first in win percentage. This year, fifth highest pass rush grade, tied for fifth in pressures, 13th in win percentage. Again, that's among all interior D linemen. Okay, so he has taken a bit of a step back, right? He's also played 80% of snaps this year compared to 71% of snaps last year. It also doesn't help that his D-line supporting cast has regressed outside of George Karlaftis. In 2024, you had Turk Wharton, George Karlaftis, both with a 10.9 or a 10.1% pass rush win percentage, right? Well, this year, you don't have anybody outside of George Karlaftis over 10%. He's at 18. That's pretty high. But Amenahu's at 6.5. Tillery is at 5.4. Dana's at 3.9. Gelati is at 3.8. But I do think he's getting better. And a lot of fans were pretty harsh on FAU. I just think there's a lot of high expectations for a guy that's drafted in the first round. But he had almost a 10% pass rush win percentage in 2024. Nobody on the line outside of George Karlaftis and Chris Jones this year has higher than that. FAU was being phased out, was running with the threes during preseason with this D-line. So the fact of the matter is, long story short, Chris Jones has taken a bit of a step back. Yes, Father Time waits for no one, but his supporting cast is the worst that it's been in a few years probably. You definitely miss Turk Wharton. Omenihu doesn't look the same post-ACL. He just doesn't. Omar Norman-Lott was the guy you were going to hope helped in Turk Wharton's absence, and he's on IR for the year. So it's unfortunate, man. Reid in the house with the 38 months. Let's freaking go donkey dive for the win. Come on now. Let's cook some rice. Ooh, we talking rice? Rashi rice over here. Brand with the 5-bomb. Thank you, brother. Would you be at all frustrated if they restructured and extended Juwan for 3 years on a cheaper deal instead of starting more at right tackle? No. Not necessarily, because again, he's a pretty dang good right tackle. He's in the upper right quadrant of your graphs where you want them. As a pass protector, I think he struggles a little bit more in the run game in comparison. But yeah, if he's not getting flagged, he's fine. I would have to look at the cap and look at all that, but I'm like, man, you're paying. Well, you do have Josh Simmons and Kingsley on rookie deals, but Creed's the highest paid center in football. Trey Smith is he the highest paid guard? I can't even remember. If not, he's top 3. He might be the highest paid guard in football. And then you're already paying a lot to Jawan Taylor, and then you signed Jalen Moore to a 2-year, $30 million deal. I wouldn't be mad, but I'm like, okay, if you're going to keep investing that much in the O-line, which is fine because you need to protect Patrick Mahomes at all costs, but what else are you doing in some of these position groups, and how are you going to manage that and balance that cap? Chris Jones's cap hit's high next year, and you could maybe restructure it in some capacity, but the Chiefs don't like to put future. They don't want to push money down the road. Essentially, they don't like to do that. Don't have to do that. They don't like to do that. Rather, Jawan has started doing much better. Yeah, no, for sure. 61. I agree with you, brother. Chris Jones is tired of being expected to win alone. Yeah, again, he's playing more snaps this year compared to last. He's taken a bit of a step back. He's still great, but he's not probably head and shoulders over everybody else anymore. And then his supporting cast has declined, man. So it's a mixed bag for sure. Now, a bright spot of the defense, that secondary is great. Second highest coverage grade in the NFL right now. Jalen Watson's playing at a very high level. He's on a contract year. He's probably getting paid by somebody. Trent McDuffie's he's not on a contract year, but he's playing at a very high level as well. I hope we see 6 Bover throws for pick 6. Bover throws is crazy. Somebody called him Tebow Nix. Tebow Nix. I was like, that's crazy, man. Is Juan Thornhill coming back to the Chiefs practice squad? I mean, maybe Witchy. I think he was let go from the Steelers or wherever he was. It's a possibility, but no guarantee. Chris is playing too many downs. Yeah, I agree. He's playing a lot, man. Definitely. Hopefully, Mike Pennell helps with that a little bit. Doesn't have to be out there, Chris Jones talking about on as many rundowns, but just what, who said it? Hannah said they were targeting Tillery when Chris Jones wasn't out there. He cleared waivers today. So yeah, he could find himself on the Chiefs practice squad. I feel like their safety room's fine. Connor, Brian Cook, Jaden Hicks isn't really playing a lot of snaps as it is, and I think you have Deion Bush on the practice squad. I think you're there okay over there. What do you think of the rumors of Spags being eyed for the New York coaching job? Yeah, so I think it's just pure speculation on candidates that could be a good fit. Spags had 3 interviews last year for a head coaching job, and the reason why people are saying, hey, Spags, and I kind of get it. He has crossover with Mike Kafka, who's the OC over there right now. If you could retain him as the OC, Spags is the defensive-minded head coach with that defense, or specifically that D-line. That's certainly something, and he's coached there before. So I could see where people are getting there, logically speaking. He'll probably interview for the position. I wouldn't be surprised at all. You know, we always want the Spags and a lot of these key coaches to stay because continuity helps year in and year out, and they've had a lot of that. I think that is some part of some of their success is having continuity and not a bunch of changeover or turnover with offensive, like OCs is one thing because Andy Reid is the offensive-minded coach, but DCs, like you're not going through a defensive coordinator every year or two because they get a head coaching job and you have to start over. So that's been a pretty underrated aspect. I think that's helped the Chiefs a little bit over the years, specifically in the Mahomes era. Cole, one way to restructure Chris Jones' cap hit, said Hannah with the 5 bomb. Appreciate that. Is converting part of his salary, to a bonus, so pay some cash. They don't necessarily have to add dead cap years. Yeah, so you could, like a roster bonus or whatever, however you do it, you can convert some of the cap hit to, I think you can lower the cap hit, essentially, is what you can do, because you're paying, the conversion just basically means Clark Hunt has to pay cash up front. He doesn't like to do a lot of that typically. I think he's done a little bit more of it in recent years. But heck yeah. You the man, Cole? Oh, what's up? ACU? What up, guys? What's up? Kareem Hunt's a dog? Yeah, man. I mean, I'm fine with Kareem, especially in short yardage. Heck yeah. I feel like Spags has had some bad calls this year, but then again, you have to get to the QB with 4. Yeah, and then the Bills, somebody else was asking, what did the Bills do to find success? Well, they targeted the middle of the field a little bit. We know there's weaknesses there, especially if the pass rush can't get home and you're finding so much success in the run game. That's what the Bills did, play action. You don't know if it's a run or pass. You had some, I think Brian Cook on 2 plays that I saw in particular kind of over-committed to the run on play action, and he paid the price. Drew Tranquil had a rough couple snaps. We know that Nick Bolton struggles in coverage. Like, that's not his strength. We know that. So, yeah, that is an area that you could definitely take advantage of the Chiefs' defense. But hopefully that they do enough. Hopefully they do enough in this one. Do we see the return of the screen game and the crossers? Depending on the coverages played, I think it would be helpful. We were expecting more of those, I think, for the Chiefs in the Bills game. But they didn't run very many of them at all, not crossers. Man, I love being there. Such a funny nickname. He has Bo Picks, Bo Nix for 6, Boverthrow, and then Tebow Nix is crazy. Tight ends killed us in the Bills game. Yeah, Kincaid, Knox, is it Jackson Hawes? All those guys had an explosive play. They did. The Bills knew we weren't going to run and just focused on pass. That's part of the difference. Well, yeah, and it didn't help that the Chiefs were trailing, or they trailed in that game for all of but 3 minutes. So anytime you're up a score or more, it does force opposing offenses to become a little bit more one-dimensional, and the Chiefs are already a pass-first offense. So, yeah, that's an aspect too. Pacheco would have helped against the Bills. Yeah, I do agree. I think so. I mean, he's your running back 1 on this roster, and he was out. Eric Wahlberg in the house with the 5 bomb. Let's go, man. I love this team, or I love our team this year, but definitely worried we miss the playoffs. Yeah, you got to win Sunday. You're still not out of the playoff race, even if you lose, but you do need to win. You don't want to go 5-5. You need to beat the Broncos. If you beat the Broncos, the Chiefs' chances of winning the West, I think they're still in like the 50-60 range percentage. But if you lose, it's like sub 20%. Not good. Not good at all. Reaps with the 10. Cole, no pressure on you for my dad. Love how much you care for your members. You've been supportive through this. I appreciate you in Chiefs Kingdom. Heck yeah, Reaps. I mean, if there's anything we could do, I definitely want to try. I think it's worth it, man. Definitely want to try. Thank you for the 10 bomb and the kind words, brother. What position do you think we need to draft? I mean, just going running back would be a good one. That's a good one. And then, yeah, always investing in the trenches. I mean, D-line for sure. Like Tillery's on a 1 year. I think Mike Dana, you can get out of his contract in the offseason if you wanted to. A Minahue's on a 1 year. FAU, we'll see. He's on IR for the year. So, yeah, D-line for sure. Running back, probably cornerback. If Jalen Watson goes in free agency, you're going to need a corner. I think Brian Cook's on the last year of his deal too. So if you don't extend him or bring him back, re-sign him because he's on the last year of his rookie deal. Like you might need a safety, but maybe that's Jaden Hicks can step up into that. So yeah, we'll see. But it's always like a two-parter. You see who the Chiefs extend or retain or bring back on 1 year deals prior to the draft, and then you can kind of be like, okay, based on that, you need to do this. Yep, can never go along with drafting D-line. I do think they've struggled a little bit with, at least in recent years, of just getting quality talent around Chris Jones. I think George Karlaftis was fine. I think he's a good high motor defensive end too, but he really shines when you have somebody else on the other end that teams have to worry about as well. We'll see about Gelati, because maybe like you can't really judge a draft pick their rookie year. You just can't. So Gelati, I think he's on the upward a little bit. And hopefully next year, even more, take the second-year leap. Omar Norman-Lott, had some hopes for him. He's out for the year, so you got to kind of wait, and we'll see about him. But yeah, definitely, man, you can never invest enough in the trenches, both sides of the ball. Kareem is the Chiefs' version of the tush push. That's facts. Is Josh Simmons playing Sunday? If I had to put money on it, I'm going to say yes, but we really need to see how the rest of the week plays out. I don't know if he's going to be on the injury report or not. He might be. So we'll see. Is he limited? Is he full? What are they doing with that upon his return? We need to extend McDuffie. Yeah, I was kind of hopeful that they would before the season started, but I think they had conversations and it didn't work out. Meaning, I don't think they were close enough. And it could have been McDuffie's agent saying, hey, man, look at all these guys getting paid. If you hold out a little bit, wait a little bit, you're going to get even more money. Because if you can get somebody extended early, that's a win typically for the team. You got George Karlaftis extended to what I would think is an okay deal. Some people are upset about it being 90 whatever million dollars, but it's like 64, something like that, million guaranteed. So you look at that, and then in 2 to 3 years, George Karlaftis, like there's going to be a lot of guys paid a lot more than George. That deal is going to look better for sure in a couple of years. So, yeah, I would have liked to extend McDuffie, but on the flip side, you don't have to. You've got him on the 5th-year option, and you could franchise tag him after that if you needed to. Curious as to your thoughts on the Chiefs being, 3.5-point favorites in Denver. Don't know how to feel about it. I just think you factor in how Broncos looked in their last game. You then factor in some of the injury stuff. The Chiefs are a little bit more like, yeah, they lost to the Bills, but you didn't leave that Raiders game feeling encouraged about your team, did you? There's no way you did. You did win, then that's really all that matters. But the Raiders are one of the worst teams in football, and it was 10-7. Now I get it. Short week, wins, divisional games get weird. Like I understand all that. But I think that plays somewhat of a role in this, and Andy Reid's pretty hot coming off the bye. But if it's about 3 to 4 points, it does that's not much to me. They're really telling you that the game could go either way. McDuffie wanted to wait postseason to focus on football is what I heard. Yeah, that's what he said. But I am sure they had conversations because Brett Veach said they want to have those conversations with some of the key players after the draft. And I think McDuffie said they did, but I don't remember exactly what he said. It's been a little while now, but it didn't work out, essentially. And he's just here to focus on football, playoffs, and getting into the future. Scott with the 20 bomb. Holy smokes. Yo, all chiefed up. Just finished watching y'all's video before this. We need the 2 best Chiefs channels to do a collab. See what I did there? How about those Chiefs? ACU, Mike, Steven, Cole. Let's make it happen. Dude, let's go. Thank you, Scott, for the 20 bomb, man. It's been a while. I've been on their channel a couple times. I was actually I was supposed to go on a live stream with them. I'm trying to remember, maybe before the start of the season, and it just didn't work out. It didn't work out, but dude, definitely would be down. Thank you so much for the 20 bomb. In the house. Stinks to hear that McCole Hardman got signed to the Bills practice squad. I think it's fine. He wasn't signed to any team, so any former Chief I'm going to cheer on and root for. I kind of trolled around about it on Twitter, but it's not because I don't like McCole, but the Bills need like a reliable deep threat. They signed McCole. So it's like, well, maybe you could use him as a punt returner. That's probably a more realistic path to playing time for McCole at this point in time. What do you mean it didn't work out? It didn't work. My schedule, it didn't work out. There was nothing bad with not hopping on their live stream. It just didn't work out at the time. Jalen Watson is probably gone. Yeah, I think he probably gets a decent extension, or a decent contract rather, somewhere, because he's playing really good football. Jalen Watson is. Why don't we go for Christian Wilkins? I think the Chiefs should give him a call, to be honest with you. Yeah, they should give him a call. Why not? I understand there's some weird stuff going on with him, with his personality, and there's the foot issue to worry about too, but shoot, give him a call, look at the foot. You're seeing trolls? Oh, it's all good. Trolls will pop in. Trolls will pop in. Most of them have the IQ of a squirrel, or about 12. So if you just think about it like that, I wouldn't pay him any mind. Yeah, it's fine. It's all good. Man, I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks, Cole. Good to see you. Darrell, thanks so much for the 2. And then Patrick Mahomes MVP with the 5. If the Chiefs win this Sunday, it will be their 10th division title heading into the playoffs. Okay, so just to be clear, the Chiefs wouldn't win the West if they beat the Broncos this week. They just won't almost guarantee that they lose the West. So does that make sense? If they win, they still have a decent chance of being able to fight and win the West, because you're still multiple wins behind the Chargers and the Broncos. But if you lose on Sunday, it almost doesn't guarantee you can't win the West, but it makes the chances of it happening pretty slim. Does that make sense? But thank you so much for the 5 bomb. I want you to collab with Tub Frog when we meet Raiders again. Oh, is he a Raiders fan? Oh, I'll reach out to him. I didn't even know he was a Raiders fan. I'm familiar with Tub Frog's content. Les One, thank you so much for the 5 bomb. That would be a fun one. I like that. Heck yeah. You going to collab with Perna or someone for the Broncos game? Yeah, Perna, tomorrow morning. I'm going to interview him, and then we'll either drop that tomorrow or Thursday. I'm not sure which day yet. The eye test for Jalen Watson gets beat a lot. I'd like to see more snaps from Noel Williams. We are getting some more from Noel, but I do think Watson, especially in the second half of the first half of the season, aka the second quarter of this season, I think he's been playing pretty well. If you look at the graphs that I love, as far as like, I would have to find a recent graph, but Jalen Watson's in the upper right, not as high as Trent McDuffie, but he's in the upper right. I don't know. I'm trying to remember when I saw the Jalen Watson graph, but I saw it and I was like, yeah, he's going to get some pretty good money in free agency. It could be CB2 money, but he's going to get paid. I love graphs, dude. Look at this graph. Yeah, I thought I could find it quickly, but I don't think I can. But yeah, more snaps from Noel Williams, man. I'll definitely take it. I think he's trending upwards as a rookie. He's your CB3, but yeah, I do like what I've seen from him, and that's another reason why it's like, well, you're not going to pay McDuffie and Jalen Watson, so I bet you if McDuffie's still around and you're not trying to wheel him and deal him for 2 first-round picks like Sauce Gardner, it's going to be McDuffie, and then Noel Williams is probably your CB2. I don't know why that would change. Curious as a Broncos lifer. What's up, Seth? What game plan do y'all want to see against Denver? Game plan. I mean, I think just on offense, you've got to protect Mahomes, but it's got to be quick passing game. You need to execute at a high level and put some points up on the board, man. I don't know that it might be a little bit lower scoring game just because that defense is so good. And then honestly, you guys on offense, the opposite side has been struggling at times. So maybe it's a bit lower scoring, but if the Chiefs on offense can keep the time of possession in their favor, can go up a little bit early, force Bo Nix and that offense to press a little bit without J.K. Dobbins, that's probably like the biggest win for me. But you've got to keep Mahomes upright, and you can't allow him to lose trust in the line, because that's when he starts to, again, that's every quarterback, but Mahomes will start bailing clean pockets. So it's game plan. You've got to come in ready for that pass rush. It's going to be a big deal. So that's why you've got to watch for Josh Simmons. Is he going to play? How's Jawan Taylor's ankle look? Some of that stuff. So I don't have like a big, huge X and O's game plan for you, but it's just like you got to protect Mahomes. You have to take advantage of that offense that has been struggling, right? And might not, most likely, won't have J.K. Dobbins. Don't let Cortland Sutton do his thing. Don't let Ingram, I think he's fine and healthy. Don't let him burn you in the middle of the field. And you can't really blitz Bo Nix. He's pretty good against pressure. You got to hold up in coverage and try to get home with 4. But your guys' O-line's pretty good, and the Chiefs' D-line hasn't really been able to do that. So I'll be intrigued to see. I wouldn't be surprised if it was closer than we want it to be. I think the Chiefs can win, but you've got to get some points up on the board on offense. Obviously, win the turnover battle. The Broncos are going to give the Chiefs opportunities on offense because, with all due respect, the Broncos have punted the most in the NFL. So there's going to be times where they punt the ball back to the Chiefs knowing, our defense will hopefully be able to handle it. But on those extra opportunities, can you make them pay? Can you get an explosive to get you down the field and allow you to get into the red zone and put up some points? This is a game where 3 points are important. Like, I always say go down there and score 7. But, dude, if you can just get in field goal range in Mile High Stadium several times, I'll take 3 over 0. That's for sure. That's for sure. I hate Perna. I have to hate him because Broncos. Yeah, he's a great content creator, man. I watched his Broncos recap from last week. I had to do it. The new worst game ever. Had to do it. Heck yeah. Odin's son, thank you for the membership. Let's freaking go. Thank you for your service, Scott. Yeah, Scott. Let's go, man. 100% service connected vet of the Iraq War. Dude, Scott, appreciate your service, man. Thank you. Yeah, happy Veterans Day. I don't know if that's like, for some vets, it's not really like a joyful day. It could bring up some not great memories, to be honest with you, but hopefully the day was as good as it could be for you, and I appreciate your service, brother. Cole, are you planning on streaming with Perna for this game? I don't know about that per se. We haven't talked about it, but we're definitely doing a little bit of a Chiefs and Broncos preview video tomorrow. Cole is only allowed, said Hannah with the 5, to collab with a Raiders content creator after they go from an XFL to NFL team, or from an NFL to XFL team. I did collab with the Raiders content creator a few weeks ago. He's a really nice guy, Graphic Raider. Trying to collab with creators of every single team. Trying for every game that we play. How much of a soul? We'll see how much of a soul Perna has if we win. Cole, I missed your dono. Oh, shoot, did I? Oh, you had another one about Tub Frog. My bad. Why don't you do a collab with Tub Frog? Okay, and then another 5. Thank you. Last week, Tub Frog live streaming on Thursday Night Football and got raided by Grossi during halftime with Perna while playing Pokemon Showdown. LOL. No way, really? That is excellent. I love that. Frank said, I feel like content creators for teams I hate makes me like the teams more, or at least just have a bit more of respect and appreciation. I don't know. When I talk to content creators, we're all in this together in the sense of like, we're all just trying to make great content for our team, man. At the end of the day, it is a game. We're all fans of our teams, and we like to have fun, troll around, but dude, it's nothing personal for any of these guys. And any fan, it's like not personal. It's a game, dude. It's a sport. So yes, I want the Chiefs to win, but like, I wish Perna success. I wish these guys success, man. If you can do what you love, creating content, talking football about the team you grew up watching, like what a win, what a W, if that's what you want to do. So I'm always like rooting for those guys. Have I ever played Madden? Yeah, it's been a long time. I'm not that good at it. I'm not that good at it. King of Death, thank you for the 5-bomb. What percentage do you think the Chiefs have of running the table if they handily beat Denver and the Colts? What percentage would you say as of now? Oh boy. Let me pull up the Chiefs schedule, that because it's a little late and my brain's a little fuzzy. So let me pull up the schedule so I can look at it. You guys can look at it too. Okay, so let's see what we got going on here. Where are we? What is this? This is a weird way to look at it. So you got the Broncos. So you say if you beat the Broncos and the Colts, well, let's look at it. You should beat the Cowboys. You should. I think you beat the Texans for sure. The Chargers is going to be a tough one. I don't know. To be honest with you, you should beat the Titans, but then you got the Broncos again. You should beat the Raiders. So you're saying what percentage would I give of winning out and not losing another game if you beat the Broncos and the Colts? I don't know if I got a percentage for you. I think there's 3 games that you're probably winning for sure. And then like the Chargers and Broncos game, you're going to have to be on your A game again. Yeah, nothing's promised when you're winning so much and you're playing all these good teams. Now the Titans you should beat. The Raiders you should beat. I think you should beat the Texans. They got a good defense, but I think you should beat them, and you should probably beat the Cowboys, but that's a really good offense over there. So it's going to be tough, but yeah, one game at a time. The Broncos and Colts are important. We got the Broncos again, the Chargers again, and the Raiders. Second Broncos game is Christmas Eve, primetime in Arrowhead, baby. Yeah, I think it's actually Christmas Day. Oh, maybe that's what you mean. Sorry, I read Christmas Eve as like the day before Christmas, but you literally mean Christmas evening. Yeah, it is Christmas, 7:15 p.m. Yup. What's up, Cole? How about the Chiefs? What's up, Tom? Thanks so much for the 2-bomb, brother. I for real, I don't think I could go to Denver. I'd be insufferable and probably get punched. Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah, don't do that. Who do you think wins MVP after the game? Jonathan Taylor just had? Oh, okay. I mean, I think you've got to throw Jonathan Taylor into the MVP conversation. Hasn't he had 5 games this season of 3 rushing touchdowns? That is insane. I don't think a running back has won MVP since, 2012? So I'm not saying it's likely he wins MVP. I think Matt Stafford's in the conversation. Drake May's in the conversation. Those are your 3 right now. Could be Mahomes. You got to win the majority of your games and just go nuclear. But it's not impossible. Yeah, Stafford is insane, dude. Stafford is... Yeah, I want to look at this real quick. I'm a Stafford fan, dude. I always rooting for guys who can kind of turn their career around, and like I definitely don't mind that he's on an NFC team in the Rams. I like Stafford. I think I had as a QB5, I think, heading into this season. But his game log right now, I mean, he's been going insane. Look at his game log. Look at this. Okay. 3 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, no picks. That's insane. He's projected, talking about Stafford, on pace for 4,500 yards, 47 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. I mean, that's MVP if you keep it that trajectory. He's playing really well. Puka's awesome. Devontae Adams looking good over there. Yeah, heck yeah, dude. But it would be great if Mahomes could do it. I'm just saying I think the conversation is Stafford, May, maybe Jonathan Taylor. Mahomes is probably up there. He's got to be top 5 still in betting odds. Isn't Donkey Lips? I don't know. I don't know who that is. Why'd you... Content creator? I don't know who that is, bro. Oh, from Salute Your Shorts? I've never heard of him before. Okay, there we go. Michael Bauer is an actor best known for his role as Eddie Donkey Lips on the Nickelodeon show Salute Your Shorts. Oh. Yeah, I have no idea who that is. Not gonna lie. He's a Raiders fan? Oh, nice, dude. Could look into that, though, Odin. I bet if I saw his face, I would know. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I know who that is. You want the coverage? What coverage, Seth? What's up, dude? You got good cell service? What are we talking about? Why does everyone talk about the Raiders content creators? Oh, I don't know. So if the playoffs started today, Chiefs wouldn't be in the dance, yet Chiefs are still favored to win the Super Bowl. Yeah, I think you're kind of going on some past stuff. You also know that the Chiefs are a good team. And when you've made You've made 7 straight AFC championships, I think. You've been in, 5 Super Bowls in the last 6 years, winning 3? Is that what it is? That's just kind of having some data on your side and some statistical, recent historical context. That helps. He missed his calling. Donkey Lips should be a Broncos content creator. It'd be absolutely perfect. Yeah, it'd be absolutely perfect. Well, man, I appreciate each and every one of y'all. I am running out of fumes, man. It is 10 p.m. Been live for an hour and 35 minutes, but it's been freaking awesome. Scott with the 20 bomb. Thanks for the shout out, boss man. Love this channel. Look forward to every video drop. You better take Perna to the woodshed in his interview. You know that little is going to have something slick to say. Yeah, we'll see what he says. I've interviewed him a couple times over the years, and he's normally pretty just chill, and we'll just shoot straight about the teams. But we'll if he's got stuff to say, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I do think that it'll be a pretty good conversation. Brand found that chart, by the way. He found the Jalen Watson chart that I was trying to find. Look where Jalen Watson is. Look at that. He's playing good. This is EPA allowed per target, so the higher the better. Yards allowed per coverage snap. And you're going in a decreasing order. So Jalen Watson's playing. Woo! It's pretty good. That's pretty good. I mean, you're up there with some of the best. I mean, there's PS2. There's Trent McDuffie. So, heck yeah, man. He's going to get paid. Scott, thanks again for the 20 bomb, man, the kind words. Glad you look forward to every drop. We try to put a lot of work into the videos and just try to make them as value-packed as humanly possible for you guys, man. It's a dream come true that I get to do this for a living, so try to make it as good a quality as we can. So it means a lot to me, and if you guys aren't watching, what does it matter, right? So the fact that you guys are encouraged and you enjoy the videos, like, it means the world to me. So appreciate you guys, and until next time, which will be, we'll have a video tomorrow, we'll have a video Friday, and then we'll have the play-by-play reaction stream on Sunday. Thanks again for the mods holding it down, all the dono bombs, everybody hanging out, man. Appreciate y'all more than you know. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go.
How about those Chiefs?